Well, I happened to be driving by on the street and I saw this sitting here. Might buy it. Looks like the hood's a little wonky, but I've been looking at it, ain't got any rust. Oh. 210,000 miles. I don't want to touch too much stuff. Oh, the fuel pump relay is hanging out. That's not a good sign. Heated seats. Yeah. Well, I might buy this thing. I was looking in the window and I saw this sitting back here for sale sign. I'm not going to show the number, but I'm going to call the number and see if they're interested in selling it. It's got a lot of cosmetic stuff on it. Like the paint looks good here. This will buff out, but all this up here and all the trim around the car is glued in. Headlights are, you know, so let me call this guy and see if he wants to sell, or girl, and see if they want to sell this thing. They got to stop parking stuff like that in the front, because some impulse buyer like me is going to come up and, you know, want to take something like that home. It's not good for me. I have too many cars. I need to stop. But we'll see what happens. Well, that's what's ended up happening. $600 later, it is now mine. Let's get it home. Well, you know, I thought this car had its flaws, but after looking at it next to the new car, this thing looks gorgeous compared to that. That just looks like a piece of shit. This car's looking nice and clean, even with all the pollen over it. Don't mind the door, still ain't fixed it. But there are some things that I have done, like the gauge cluster. I finished that. Dave Barton. And I got the new wheel in. Somebody's doing a flyby. Got the new wheel in with the Dave Barton Volvo horn button. And, you know, got the prancing moose up there. Fixed the shifter issue with the neutral safety switch. This has just been my daily driver. It's been a great car so far. And I guess now I'll give you the actual tour of this car, because it's pretty bad. First I want to take y'all into the trunk and show y'all the homemade taillight covers. They're little orange buckets, so that's creative. Also notice the extreme amount of wire holding everything together on this car. I mean, there's some here. Well, it's holding something. That same wire is holding the entire bumper together. Got some here. Can't forget the exhaust, which is also being held up. Got some more wire going through here. Some more wire going through here. And my favorite bit, you lost your reverse lens? All right, just put a piece of white reflective tape over it and some, I believe that's like Bondo, whatever you put Bondo over, that stuff. Even more wire here. What else? The paint is terrible. Everything on this car has been rigged in some way. The glove box, that is the lock. The driver's seat looks like it's out of an 80s, 83, 84, just judging by the headrest. It's supposed to have a 3-bar, that's a early style. I'm trying to get this cover off so I can see how bad this seat is. Huh. Actually, a damn good driver's seat or passenger seat. Cool. So the passenger seat is good. More wire tying down there. What else? The hood hinges are fucked. Didn't even notice that. More wire holding the bumper cover on. More glue. Open the hood here in a minute. There's a zip tie. Doing good there. Oh, another zip tie. Nice. Let's go ahead and pop her open. Missing speakers. It's not a Volvo if it doesn't have a radio or speakers when you buy the car. That's how you know you bought a shitty $500 Volvo. So that doesn't come with those key items. Ugh. I rolled my ankle, so that's why the video is a little wobbly. But this is where it gets better. Number one, the hood does not hold itself up. We've got some plastic here. Don't know why. We've got some tape holding the fuel feed line. Some tape on the throttle cable. A zip tie on the oil dipstick. Some more tape on the vacuum line. Some more plastic zip tied and a bucket lid and something around the headlight relay. Some weird wiring down there. Don't know what that goes to. The fan shroud I also did not notice was zip tied to hell. Looks like we have a newer style connector on the ignition box. Bosch alternator. Anything else over there? No? So this car, we were trying to start it. That's why the airbox is the way that it is. We had a battery that was probably double the size of the tray, and I had to take the airbox out to make the battery fit because that's all he had at the shop, and we were trying to get it running. But it was getting spark. The fuel pump relay was clicking. The fuel pump relay was clicking like it's supposed to. One click for key on, and then it clicked whenever you cycle the key to try to start it. But I heard nothing from this fuel pump, so I believe this fuel pump might be dead, which I bought one for that car, so I already have one, so I'll just throw it in here, see what happens. Last 01/23, which was a month or two ago that it ended, so at least it's been on the road since, so that's good. Tires are, what's the date code? These look like some 2015 tires with all this dry rot. 2015. There you go. Brilliant-is 2. But as I was saying, there is no rust. It's nice and clean. The pinch welds are nice. No one's jacked it up in the wrong spot. So that's a good. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's early in the morning. I believe the butt cheeks aren't rusted out. Nice and clean there. I felt this one last night and it felt like it was dented. I can't see, but it's not rusted. So that's good. How's this side on the rust? No rust. Good pinch welds on this side. But I did pull the gas cap and smelled this gas that's in the tank. Absolutely terrible. It smells like it's been sitting a very, very, very long time. So I'll get some starter fluid later on today because I got a battery for it in the back that came out of the 740. And we'll chuck a battery in it. And I've got some tail lights that I can throw on it. And we'll see what this thing can do. Hopefully make it a quick flip. Give it a little half-ass paint job and do all the maintenance on it. Make it a good daily driver. And sell it to somebody who needs it. God, that's a good looking car. Well, all right. I should be getting my IPD parts in today so we can finish working on that car and its motor. And then I also have another 244 coming sometime next week that needs a motor swap that I'm going to be flipping. So there'll be tons of Volvo content for you guys coming here soon. So on that note, we'll say goodbye until next time. Right. Okay, back to working on this shit box. I'm doing the fuel pump right now. The fuel that came out of here was disgusting. Number one, the wiring was trashed. It had been butt connected and it was, you know, corroded at the factory wire end. And this is, you know, whatever. Ugh. New pump, new filter, new wiring. I cut back as much as I could till I found wire that whenever I rubbed my finger on it, it didn't disintegrate. So I found some good wire there. Another issue I'm having is this fuel pump feed line that comes from the in-tank pump. This is the end of it that came off of it. Focus. Whenever I pulled the clamp off, it was leaking fuel right here. And I guess this end rotted off. So I cut it off, and hopefully that is enough. And it's, you know, stable enough. And will reach the fuel pump. Because I know these are very short. But we'll see what happens. But now that I have the new pump connected, we'll wait for the plane to pass by because every 30 seconds they want to fly over and I can't hear shit. Okay, so if I tap fuse 4 and 6 together, you can hear the new pump come on. Not gonna run it too long dry. I don't know if the in-tank pump is running. I'll have to check that. Actually, I should check that real quick. Jump that fuse to see if that pump will turn on. See if fuel comes out of here. If not, I'm doing an in-tank pump as well. Okay, so what we're gonna do is attach this here, and this should turn on the in-tank pump. If it works. Well, nothing's coming out, so I'm going to assume that the in-tank pump is also dead. Yay. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this pump out. Luckily, I have a good pump that I pulled, well, not out of that car. A good pump that I pulled out of Scotia when I did the IPD high flow pump. So I'm gonna go grab that fuel pump. Hopefully the sock is good because I don't have another sock. I'm just gonna rock with it, see what we can do. Well, I got the sending unit out and this is what we're left with. There's no sock on it. The ground wire is, you know, just exposed. That's great, that's how you want it. This wire is just falling apart. That's also great. Well, I guess we just gotta get it cleaned up. See what happens. I'm gonna test this pump real quick, see if it even works. All right, well, changing plans. The pump, like I said, that I pulled out didn't have a sock on it. I don't have a spare sock. I'm going to buy, or I already bought, a new sending unit. It should be here tomorrow. But for right now, I'm just gonna throw this back in with this working pump that I have, just so I can get that car moved. And once, you know, Scotia's all done and pushed out, that car can come back here to get worked on. And I'll put that new sending unit in there, because I don't want this in there for too long. I'm going to leave it in there with the gas it has, and when I get that new sending unit, we'll drain that tank, get a sock, get a brand new pump, because whatever it's going to suck in while I move it, it's going to, you know, kill that pump eventually. So, got to do what you got to do. I need that car moved right now, so this is what I got to do. Let's see if it starts. Test it one more time before we put it back in the car. See if it'll hold in a position. Cool. So that works. Throw it back in, get this car running, get it moved. The engine bay of Scotia looks great, by the way. Now we should at least have fuel. Oh, I hear it now. It's splurging out. Cool, we've got a working intake pump and a main fuel pump now. So let's get it back together and see if she'll run. All right, so I primed the pump and it is definitely still leaking from that feed line, that rubber hose, but whatever. Let's see if it starts. Oh, my battery terminals are loose. All right, give me something. There we go, something. There we go. How bad's it leaking? Not too bad. That exhaust is rubbing quite a lot because it's not connected right here. But it's running on some shitty old gas. Pretty noisy belts. Sounds like a piece of shit. We've got gears. Let's keep letting it run. I'm hoping that's that noise is just the belts and not a bearing, because it sounds pretty gnarly. Yeah, we'll just keep letting it run, see if that temp gauge works. Probably doesn't. I never checked to see if it had coolant in it. You have to fix that. It's like pinching that fuel pressure regulator hose. Yeah, that fuel pressure regulator vacuum line, it's like a clear line and it's like pinching it shut. See if it'll hot start. Oh, I didn't hold it long enough. What all works? We got AC? I don't know, we'll see. Most likely not. Yeah, I don't think we got AC. Damn. Thought we might get lucky. Well, I'm going to put all this back together, plug in the other computer. I plugged in one of my spares just to see if that was the issue, but no. 2 dead fuel pumps. Let me get this car moved out the way, and that'll be it for this car.